Alright, welcome back after the break and now for a discussion on the newspaper headlines published from the national capital. We have with us in our studio senior journalist Mr. KG Suresh. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Suresh. Good to have you with us in our studio as well. To begin with, of course, all the newspapers are gaga over Pranab as the 13th president. Let's straight away ask one important question that probably will be in everybody's mind. As has been asked, as has been commentated about, would Rice in a Hill or Rashtrapati Bhavan be any different from what it was with different presidents that it had?
Well, Mr. Mukherjee is a very senior leader. He has been a troubleshooter for the UPA all these years. And his understanding of the constitution is great. And he has been popular even among opposition leaders. In fact, opposition leaders before the elections, of course, they did not allow it to go uncontested. But they have been, kind of showering encomiums on him, praising him for his capabilities. And in fact, I remember Mr. Advani once saying that this government would not have survived but for Mr. Mukherjee. And so I think that he enjoys the election outcome. You see, it could be in terms of victory, yes, because UPA could have ensured his victory. But I think the sheer numbers that he has won, that clearly shows that it was not just the UPA, it was his personal charisma and stature. You have had cross votings, you have had even the opponent not receiving support even from his own state and his own region. That shows the kind of popularity this gentleman has had.
To an aberration like Mulayam Singh Yadav goofing up with the votes.
Yeah, but I must add here that with his balance, with his relationship with all the political stakeholders, I think that we are going to see the role of the president is well defined in the constitution. You have had a lot of Supreme Court rulings also, guidelines, whom to invite to form government and things like that. But it is your conduct, the dignity with which you, hold the office, and the manner in which, people pin their hopes on you. You emerge as a leader on whom everyone looks up. They feel that, yes, he is the custodian of the constitution. I think he would be able to kind of, that moral authority, I think that Mr. Mukherjee enjoys that. And somewhere, I think that that is going to reflect during the entire tenure.
But then you're talking of his popularity and you're talking of how the political acumen which he had, and that will be indeed very beneficial for not only the country but the opposition parties as well. But then when we talk of the UPA, how would you read it? I mean, he will be missed because
certainly, I think that
the opposition parties, the troubleshooter, we see him as the finance minister, the external affairs minister. For the UPA, he will be missed.
Well, you see, that of course goes without saying that he has been a firefighter and he has been, he is the minister who is in the maximum number of GOMs, group of ministers he is there. He was there to, whether it is in Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, you just name it, he used to rush and, douse the fire. So he would be missed, no doubt. But then at the end of the day, let's not forget that organizations are above individuals. And finally, you see, somebody will emerge, may not be that effective, but obviously there won't be a vacuum.
And there is already, we're already seeing a rift in there with the NCP chief Sharad Pawar saying that there is a number 2 spot, as has been claimed by many.
Yeah, but the fact remains that, you have had, the same thing was said once, when Pranab Mukherjee was there in BJP. What happens to BJP after Pranab Mukherjee? But political parties with a history, they survive in the long run. It's not about individuals; it's about organization, ideology, policies, a lot of things. But yes, certainly that personal touch, personal acumen, that would always be, because he is now elevated into a neutral position where he cannot play any proactive role.
Tell me one thing, during the build-up to the election, one thing that made a lot of news, or in the backdrop maybe, but it was there, that presidential election was linked necessarily with the 2014 elections. Now, Pranab Mukherjee is of course the president-elect. Do you think his role goes, of course, beyond the 2014 elections as well, in the capacity of him as a president who has a lot of political acumen and understanding?
Well, you see, I don't see, frankly speaking, that this is in any way a reflection on the 2014 arithmetic. For the simple reason that with the announcement of the vice president candidate, JDU is back on board so far as BJP is concerned. So I think that it is the name of the president and a lot of things. You see, there have been allegations that have been made that inducements were, offered to the states to support him. I frankly, there is absolutely no doubt that as we evolve as a democracy, there can be put in place, a code of conduct can be put in place in the, say, subsequent elections. You see, if there are apprehensions on that count. But I think that it would be too naive to say that a Nitish Kumar or a Mulayam Singh would get swayed by a package. If that was the case, Mamata Banerjee had been demanding a package. Secondly, today itself you have had Mulayam Singh joining the CPM and JDS to demand, to stop to prevent the FDI. Now, if the package has actually worked, then he would not have opposed that. I don't think these things matter. These are the rights of every state, and accordingly, in Bihar you have a BJP JDU government, Of course. So I think that to make that kind of an allegation, I don't think that that is very substantiated. But yes, somewhere it, I think, showed the popularity of the person, his stature. It did reflect, and 2014 is still far away. I think that a lot of things will happen in between that will change the political equations. Right. This does not in any way reflect.
A lot of positivity is being instilled as we see the finance minister turn president. But then let's talk of the other issue. The NCP issue has also been headlined by most of the papers. Now, we've seen it was in 1999 when Sharad Pawar and Sonia Gandhi had to part ways, but then eventually the way elections shaped up, they had to force themselves into a post-election coalition. This time around, we've seen that NCP chief is very adamant about being given importance into the UPA too. But then how far would this be legitimate on his part, if we ask you, given the fact that we know that if he goes alone, he is not that strongly poised. But then when we talk of Maharashtra as a state and his clout there, how do you read the issue?
Well, I don't think there is any threat to the government in the first place. And Congress all along, though a lot of speculations have been there of mid-term elections and things, the fact remains that the Congress has been able to manage the coalition very well. It has survived. Now, so far as Mr. Pawar is concerned, I don't think this has just got to do with the number 2 position. I think that it has got a lot to do with the Maharashtra elections also, the upcoming elections. This is bargaining. There have been some local instances wherein they have some grievances against the chief minister. And I think that all this has piled up, and this is a kind of a pressure tactic. This happens in every coalition. And given the, as you correctly said, if you have earlier last time, Mr. Raj Thakre's eminence made a lot of difference in Congress coming back to power, and maybe with Raj and Uddhav coming together, even at least on because of Uddhav's illness, if that turns into a political alliance, and I think that for NCP certainly parting ways with Congress won't be a very, very, very viable option. So I think that the real politic will finally kind of dominate, and
that will have to see as the time and the issue pans out.
And the politics is a constant churning as it goes.
All right.
KG Suresh, thank you very much for giving us all your thoughts on these important issues.
Thank you for joining us.